Welcome everyone. Today is December 5th, 2023, 4:30 p.m. This is a meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Is there a motion to call the meeting to order?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business we have, but we don't have Rep. Schmid in attendance yet, or a grant we had received from his office and Mr. Strauss's office, so we'll jump the Eagle Scout citation. We're going to pass over, gentlemen. The young man can't make it today. And we'll jump right to 7 Aline Street. We got a few letters from Mr. Bob Bola saying, "Dear Mr. Barabel, pursuant to 780 CMR sections 121.1 through sections 121.5, I have determined that the property known as 7 Aline Street in Acushnet, Mass. Is unsafe and immediate action must be taken to remove the structure or to make it safe. It is imperative that you obtain the necessary plumbing, gas, electrical, and building permits for this work. Upon receipt of this order, you are required to contact me with your plans to remedy this situation. It is important to note that the failure to act on this order will result in fines not to exceed $1,000 a day, as well as legal action being sought against you. Any person aggrieved by this order may appeal the same pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 139.2. It remains my sincere hope that you contact me upon receipt of this order." That's from the Building Commissioner, Andy Bob Bola. We have a letter from the Conservation Agent to Mr. Barabel. Mr. Barabel, please be advised that this office has received numerous complaints regarding soil importation and soil waste, burning, and deposition at the above location. I would like to call to your attention the following issues under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. Portions of the site are currently mapped by priority habitat, by the natural heritage, endangered species. Groundwater is at or near the surface in the area of your property. Any land alteration may require a stormwater permit from conservation. Filling is occurring either in wetlands or associated buffer zone. Hazardous materials are being improperly stored on the site, endangering water quality in the area. I have been observing the property from the street and recently visited the property. Based on my visual observations, there is the potential that wetlands and stormwater violations exist, and based on these observations, you are ordered to cease and desist. Cease and desist from all filling and grading activities, cease and desist from any activities in the buffer zone or wetlands, cease and desist from placing any solid waste in the wetlands or buffer zone, cease and desist from any work on site until wetlands have been delineated and approved by conservation, cease and desist from any work until the seasonal high groundwater elevation on the site has been established by a licensed soil evaluator and approved by the conservation. Feel free to contact this office should you require any further information or wish to appear before the commission to resolve these issues. The next letter from Mr. Correa, the health agent. As of December 1st, a re-inspection of Mr. Barabel shows that he continues to clean up the derelict property he purchased on April 7, 2023. No correction orders at this time are warranted. The only outstanding issues with the health department is that a Title V inspection needs to be completed in the manufactured home that is on site is united with the existing system. Mr. Barabel hired a Title V inspector back in August to address this requirement. However, at the time it was determined that since it was unclear if a new home or the existing manufactured home was being used, that it would be more prudent to inspect when the water was connected to the system. I will continue to monitor Mr. Barabel's endeavors to clean up the property and turn it into a home for his family. And we don't have anything back from the inspector as of today. Is that correct, Mr. Kelly? I guess we'll wait on that and see what else comes about, but I think I want to thank Mr. Bob Bola, Mr. Hannon, Mr. Correa for their letters. I did go by the site and it looks like the garbage has been removed off the roadway, so that's a good sign. The only thing that's left there is a wood pile. Is there anybody here that wants to speak on 7 Aline Street? Nobody's here to speak on 7 Aline Street.
It's fair to say. I mean, it's still a garbage dump. When is he going to be forced to clean the garbage dump? I mean, none of you would live beside that.
Well, if you want, you can take this letter from the health agent and go speak to the health agent on what you're alluding to is garbage, and see why his letter says what it says, and see what he has to say, and you can give me a report back on what his comments were about garbage. I did look at the road, I did not look into the property, but I do know that the bags were removed as of last weekend, so.
Well, I mean, we all know the wood that he's calling firewood that he's gonna heat somebody's home with is pine garbage that nobody wants. And it's just, I mean, 28 years, I've lived in that house next door and took care of that property. We've cut the lawn, I've paid landscapers, 28 years, not for him to move in and use it as a dump.
Correct.
So, I mean.
Well, he's gotta abide by the building commissioner's demands, all the permitting, as well as conservation, so he's got some work to do out there. And as far as Mr. Correa goes, if you wanna touch base with him and see what's going on, I think I'm gonna have the fire chief at least go out there and take a look at the electrical. And perhaps you can get a hold of Eversource to cut power over there, because I'm told by Mr. Barbola that that looks a little dangerous as well.
Okay.
So we're figuring it out one step at a time.
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a motion to place on file.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is Rep. Schmidt here? Sure he's only gonna be 5 minutes late? Because it's 8 minutes late.
When somebody's got 80 grand, they can be 20 minutes late.
Well,
You want to,
I'll,
you want to go to?
I can just jump right over to new business then.
Number one, she's on her way to.
Who's she?
Jen, treasurer collector.
Oh, why we have to come in?
Yeah,
Okay.
she should be here in 5 minutes as well.
Okay. Well, I'm passing over license renewals because the inspections haven't been done. So, Mr. Kelly, if you'd like to do an OPEB report?
Mr. Chairman, the latest OPEB report is in front of you. It's based on prior health insurance costs. Because as you know, last year we changed health insurer. And so that will, when they do the next study, that will reduce our liability as our health insurance projections are so reduced by changing providers.
Okay.
And it's just for your edification to read the report. And when we go forward, it looks like because we're putting money away and we're investing money with Peacock instead of Prim, we're getting a better return, and we will end up in a better situation because of it.
Very good. Questions, comments, concerns from the board?
Nothing?
Do you need a motion?
No, I just I need to place it on file.
Motion to place on file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll just jump right over to the EMA plan. It's a emergency response plan from what I've been told by Chief Fallon, long outdated. So thank you, Chief Fallon, and the EMA folks to update EMA response, emergency response plan. I don't see anything crazy and detrimental in there. It just needs to be updated. It should be updated every year, but it hasn't been updated. It's a little antiquated. Lack of better terms.
There are some other plans that will follow but we needed to update this one first. And of course, it's good to update it before the winter time since it's an emergency management plan.
Correct. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns on EMA, except in the updated plan?
Nope.
Is there a motion to accept as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can jump to one now.
All right, so we got the appointment of a new treasurer collector, Jennifer Grant, I believe. Is she? If you want to come to the podium, at least introduce yourself.
Hi, My name is Jennifer Garant. Thanks for having me back. I am coming from the town of Dartmouth as the assistant collector. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late.
Okay.
I'm very excited to start this journey with the town of Acushnet as a treasurer collector.
Great, very good.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the other day, again, this is more of a courtesy for you. We were here Friday. Bob and I presided over the appointment, but you know, as sort of our financial guy, I want to make sure you had the opportunity to ask questions or you know, get to know Jennifer in this capacity. We look forward to working with you. So,
thank you, Mr. Warren. I appreciate that. I know that you came highly recommended by Mr. Hassett, which was a consultant of ours doing the town accountant's job.
Yes.
Now we have Mr. Nick Monticello in the town accountant's job. So Mr. Kelly did the interviews. Mr. Warren, I know you sat through one interview process. So you come highly recommended by the staff. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need to do another motion to appoint. It's all legit.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. All right. So we're pretty much all, there's a lot of executive sessions. Obviously, I have to hold off on that until we tackle Rep. Schmidt.
About the snowplow contracts.
We can, yeah, I guess we could do that. The snowplow contractors, so I've had a conversation with DPW staff again this week, and it looks pretty good. We've gotten most of our last year's contractors reassigned for this year. There's only a few of them that have dropped out, but we've gotten 5 new ones, so we're down. We're still looking for snowplow contractors. If you're out there, please call the DPW office at 508-998-0233. Ask us to speak with Kathleen Silva or Mr. Menard, which very rarely will you catch them inside the office. But Kathleen Silva will be able to help you out and give you all the paperwork that's required to sign up and be a snowplow contractor. And I believe the board has voted a $1,000 perfect attendance sign-on bonus for the year. So if you're interested in snowplowing for the town, or you know anybody that is, please pass on that information, because we could use probably another 8 to 10 of them in case we get a bad winter. We'll be fully staffed at that point. So that's the only update I have. Mr. Kelly, do you have anything else to add to snowplow?
Mr. Chairman, we are going to, as you know, have some of our folks who have not handled the smaller trucks trained on that, so we can do the parking lots. And we have a plan in place with the library, the COA, and these parking lots here.
I know DPW always takes care of our police department, fire and EMS departments, obviously being public safety. It's a requirement for them to get in there and do what they need to do there. So hopefully we'll get a few more subcontractors on board. Well, I've just basically run out of things, unless do you want to do...
Town administrator's
sure,
report.
if you want to talk a little bit about town administrator's report.
I can dance for a while.
Okay.
We've advertised the assistant town accountant. We are advertising the digital communication technology manager. Sadly, we are going to be advertising the COA director. And we're re-advertising maintenance custodian, full-time or part-time. Interviews have been completed, IT proficiency test administered for the building department clerical help, and we will talk to the individual at this point. Treasurer collector transition, motor vehicle commitment, 2023 sent to the deputy collector. Subsequent takings for FY23 processed, and we are going to be renewing the CDs. We'll do the debt payment for the USDA. It's due on the 14th of December. Renew the school band, and that will with Jennifer on board, we won't have to worry about any more transition. We'll be going full gun. School ventilation issues. The tech services directed Serve Pro for deep cleaning of the areas of concern in the elementary school. Future testing is scheduled. Soffits and damaged sheetrock were replaced, ducts cleaned. And they're going to do the middle school at the Xmas break. The COA director and I have talked about a number of issues for transition down there, and we will be talking to the board and the chair individually about some of those. I met with Ben Murphy, VP of Mass Development, and the Dream Development Company, which is the Commonwealth's consultant, on developing the scope of services and the RFP for the sale or reuse of the Russell Library. They will get back to us with those recommendations. It is being paid for by the $25,000 earmark grant through Mass Development that our legislative delegation got for us. Electric cars, we've had Chevrolet issued a recall for seatbelts, battery assemblies, batteries. They've all been replaced. As far as the chargers, all of them have been fixed except for one at COA, which had a huge block of ice inside it. And so we've got to take care of that before we fix the last one. And I've got some wording out of the state supplemental budget that I think the board should look at. One of them concerns host agreements, and the other one concerns special purpose revolving accounts. That wording has not passed yet. It's but we're hoping it does, and it will address some of the problems or the issues that we've been discussing on those two subject matters. And that's it. Should I dance longer, or is he coming through the door?
Anything on Slocum Street at all on your report?
I'm going to a meeting on next Thursday, the 14th, with DOT, where they discuss the needs for the community to comply with all of the issues on the TIP project. So that's South Main Street. On Slocum Street, we are going to be having a meeting with the design, Woodring and Curran in the beginning of January. So that is the two major construction projects.
I apologize, I was just texting Rep. Schmidt to see if
He's coming in
coming
by
around the
balloon.
corner or what's going on with that.
Take a brief recess if you want.
Yeah, is there a motion to recess?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
On the regular session, back to order. We have executive session. We're gonna pass over the grant from Representative Schmidt and Representative Strauss until the next meeting. Mr. Schmidt could not make it in. So with that said, we will pass over that as well. And the only other business that we have are executive sessions, and we have 6 of them, gentlemen. So the first would be executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, liquor license, golf. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. And I'll do all of them individually. Is there a motion to go into executive session for number one?
So moved.
Mr. Hinckley, Mr. Warner.
Second, yes.
Yes.
Roll call vote, yes, yes, and I'm a yes. Executive session number 2 is executive session on the general law, chapter 38, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, police negotiations. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining of a public body and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Just for everybody's knowledge at home, I know there's some signs around town. This will be the first time that the full board is being briefed on the past negotiations. It's always the intent of the town, at least mine as the chairman of the board, to negotiate in good faith. I believe that's exactly what we will do, and hopefully we can come to some conclusions on what we would all consider a fair contract for our police union. And we do have quite the attendance in our audience right now of our police staff, so thank you folks for showing up. Is there a motion to go into executive session for number 2?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Hinckley?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Number 3, executive session on the general law, chapter 38, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to strategy on pending litigation, supervisory units, United Steelworkers, collective bargaining, negotiations, and/or Department of Labor relation cases. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the pending litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Hinckley.
Yes.
Mr. Warner.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Number 4, executive session on the general law, chapter 38, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, ASME. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Hinckley.
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Number 5, executive session on the general law, chapter 38, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, MOA, Mattapoisett. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Hinckley.
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Executive session number 6, under general law, chapter 38, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, MCAD, mediation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Hinckley.
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
And I am a yes. We are now in executive session. In open session, and we reconvened. We went through a number of executive sessions, 6 in total. And had some discussions, although no votes have been taken. We did say we'd be back out and reconvene in open session, but nothing has been voted on in executive session. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, the big headliner is we went into executive session to discuss the state of the police contract. And as you can imagine, something as big as that is an education process. There's a lot of information that I shared with my board members, my fellow board members, talking to them about some of the concepts and some of the recruiting and retention issues that we're dealing with, as a community, as a department. And in fairness to Mr. Hinckley and Mr. Gasper, it's going to take a while just to digest that information, but I'm really pleased with the level of conversation and the questions that were asked, and it's our hope to bring this up sometime in the immediate future, again, not to have things drag on, and we're going to have the staff double check the numbers and so on and so forth. So I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate the dialogue that you've established with me as the lead negotiator. But it's our interest to get something done sooner than later.
Very good. Anything on the selectmen's announcements, Mr. Hinckley?
Yeah, just one. I want to shout out all the police, fire, and EMA for putting on a cool sing-along the other night, even in the rain on Sunday. You had a decent turnout. Mr. and Mrs. Claus showed up, a lot of kids. It was really nice and turned out really good. So thanks to all the people that put that on every year, and it's nice to see more and more community events.
Excellent.
That's it, so we got.
That's it. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You're now adjourned.